Now let's look at the ears, and we know that we've already got the dot where this will start here on the side of his face from earlier. We're going to look for where it touches. Well, I guess we need to do a sideburn first, and then we'll do his ear. So let's go ahead and look at that first. So if I'm looking at where this touches against the side of his face, I can just go straight up from this dot, and then it's going to touch the side of his face there. So that distance up is a little bit, I guess, between 1/16 and 1/8. So we have this dot. We're going to go up between 1/16 and 1/8. It's going to touch his head about there. And then I'll do the same thing on the right side. So I had my dot here. Just adjust that over. And I forgot what I said, between 1/16 and 1/8. So between 1/16 and 1/8. So that gives us where his sideburn is going to touch. And that looks a bit off. I think I looked at this one dot incorrectly. So I'm just going to see that should have been about that tall. And this one should be about there. Okay. Now to correct his sideburn. So it should be about there. All right. So that just curves out and goes up, and it's down in relation to this, not too much. So if we go down and over, that's probably a little less than a 16th over and about a 16th down. So looking at this dot, down to 16th, over a little bit less than a 16th. So this will curve out and come up and connect to that dot, and then these connect like so. Then we'll do the same thing here. Less than a 16th over, about a 16th down, curve out, connect to that, and then the hat's going to come around that way. So now that we have that, we can start working on the ears. We know where it touches down here. And then we know that it comes up. And we're going to look for this point that lines up even with the top of his nose. So we're just going to look at where that's at in relation to the center going straight across. So that distance is just a little bit past 7/16. So here is 7/16 at the center of his nose. And I said that was a little bit past 7/16. So that's going to touch about there. Center of his nose was 0, going right, 7/16. And a little bit past that will get us there on that side. And I'm just going to double check the overall thickness of the ear. So from here to the sideburn is between 1/16 and 1/8. So between here and the sideburn is about between 1/16 and 1/8. And the same thing on that side. So it's pretty close. Next, we're going to look for this top point. So we're just going to go up and over. And we're going to go up, let's see, a little bit less than a 16th up and a little bit less than a 16th over. So we have this point. We're going to go up a little bit less than a 16th. We're going to go over a little bit less than a 16th for that point, and over less than a 16th, and up a little bit less than a 16th. And from there, we can see it just barely curves down, so we don't really need a dot for that point. So we know that this is the top, and it's going to kind of curve down to this, and then curve around to connect to that dot. We know the bottom kind of sticks out, kind of goes left a little bit before it starts curving up. So out, and then starts curving up. This goes kind of flat before it starts to curve over, and this starts to curve up, and they connect. Then we'll do the same thing on the right side. Go out and start to go up. This is going straight down and then starts to curve over, and then we'll connect those. This curves up and around to the top, and that starts to curve down to connect there. Next, we have this line for the upper part of his earlobe, and from here down is roughly a 1/16. So from this point down is roughly a 1/16, and that's going to stay about the same thickness until you get close to the side. Then it gets skinny and goes down about halfway and stops. Do the same thing here on the right. It stays the same thickness, starts to curve, gets skinny along the side, and goes about halfway down. Last, we have this half circle that shows the where his inner ear canal starts to go in, and it starts just a little bit below the his hair, and it goes up kind of between there, this and the bottom of his sideburn. So it's going to be close to this, right below there, and it just curves out and up, making this little half circle. And then we'll do the same thing on the right side. And that finishes his ears.